Good evening, and we need to talk about something very serious happening right now that affects all of us as Nigerians. President Donald Trump of the United States has made a very strong statement about terrorist groups that have been attacking and killing Christians in Nigeria, and what he said has sent shock waves across the world. The American president declared that these terrorists are being annihilated by the United States military, and this is happening as we speak. Now let me break down what is actually going on, because this is a story that touches the heart of every Nigerian watching this video. For many years now, Nigerian Christians, especially those living in the northern and middle belt regions of our country, have faced relentless attacks from various terrorist organizations. These groups, including Boko Haram and other extremist factions, have been responsible for the deaths of thousands of innocent people. Villages have been burned, churches destroyed, and families torn apart. The violence has been so severe that many international organizations have called it a humanitarian crisis. But here is where the story takes a dramatic turn. President Trump, who recently returned to office, has taken a very aggressive stance on this issue, and he is not holding back. According to reports coming in today, January 22, 2026, Trump made this announcement during a press conference where he addressed multiple foreign policy issues. He specifically mentioned the situation in Nigeria and said that American forces are now actively involved in operations to completely destroy these terrorist networks that have been targeting Christians. Now, this is massive news because it represents a significant shift in American foreign policy toward Nigeria and the wider African region. The president used very strong language, saying that these terrorists are being annihilated, which means they are being completely wiped out. This is not just about providing intelligence or training Nigerian forces anymore. This appears to be direct American military action. The question many Nigerians are asking right now is, what exactly does this mean for us on the ground? Reports suggest that the United States has deployed special operations forces and is conducting targeted strikes against terrorist strongholds in the northeastern part of Nigeria and surrounding areas. Intelligence sources indicate that American military technology, including drones and surveillance equipment, is being used to track and eliminate high-value targets within these terrorist organizations. This represents a level of American involvement that we have not seen before in Nigeria's fight against terrorism. Now, before we go further, if you are finding this information valuable and you want to stay updated on important news that affects Nigeria and Nigerians everywhere, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. We are committed to bringing you the truth and keeping you informed about everything happening in our nation and around the world. The Trump administration has made it clear that protecting Christians around the world is a priority, and Nigeria has become a focal point of this policy. The State Department released a statement earlier today supporting the president's comments and emphasizing that the United States will not tolerate the systematic killing of Christians anywhere in the world. This is significant because previous American administrations have been more cautious about direct military intervention in Africa, preferring to work through local governments and regional partnerships. But Trump's approach appears to be much more direct and confrontational. However, we must also consider what the Nigerian government is saying about all of this. There has been some confusion and mixed signals coming from Abuja. Some government officials have welcomed the American support, saying that Nigeria needs all the help it can get to defeat these terrorist groups that have plagued our nation for too long. Other voices within the government have expressed concern about sovereignty and whether Nigeria should allow foreign military operations on its soil without proper oversight and agreement. This is creating a complex political situation that we need to watch carefully in the coming days. The Nigerian military has been fighting these terrorists for years, and our brave soldiers have made many sacrifices. The question now is how this American intervention will work alongside Nigerian forces. Will there be proper coordination? Will Nigerian commanders have a say in how these operations are conducted? These are important questions that need answers because this is still our country, and any military action happening here should respect our sovereignty while also being effective in protecting our people. From the reports coming in today, it appears that the operations Trump is referring to have been ongoing for at least a few weeks, possibly even before his announcement. Intelligence analysts believe that several high-ranking terrorist commanders have already been eliminated in these strikes, which could explain why Trump is speaking so confidently about annihilating these groups. If this is true, it could represent a turning point in the fight against terrorism in Nigeria. These terrorist organizations have shown incredible resilience over the years, but sustained American military pressure, combined with Nigerian ground forces, could finally break their networks. We also need to talk about the humanitarian aspect of this situation. While military action against terrorists is necessary, we must remember that many civilians live in the areas where these operations are taking place. There are concerns about civilian casualties and displacement. International humanitarian organizations are calling for careful coordination to ensure that innocent people are not caught in the crossfire. This is something that both American and Nigerian authorities must take very seriously as these operations continue. The international community is watching this situation very closely. Some countries have praised Trump's decisive action, saying that the world has turned a blind eye to the suffering of Nigerian Christians for too long. Others are more cautious, warning about the risks of American military intervention in Africa and the potential for unintended consequences. The African Union has called for a meeting to discuss the situation, and there are diplomatic efforts underway to ensure that whatever happens respects international law and Nigerian sovereignty. What does this mean for ordinary Nigerians? For Christians living in affected areas, there is hope that the violence might finally decrease. Many have lived in fear for years, and the possibility of real security is something they have prayed for. For all Nigerians, regardless of religion, the defeat of these terrorist groups would be a major victory because terrorism affects everyone and destabilizes our entire nation. However, we must also be realistic and understand that defeating terrorism is not just about military action. It requires addressing the underlying issues of poverty, lack of education, and political marginalization that these groups exploit to recruit members. As this story develops, we will continue to bring you updates and analysis. This is a critical moment for Nigeria, and we all need to stay informed and engaged. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so you do not miss any important updates on this story and other news affecting our nation and around the world. Share this video with your friends and family so they can also stay informed about what is happening.